Hello and welcome back to the May update from the Tau team. And it's the developer update. So over to you, Karim.
Thank you, Fola, and welcome everyone to the May update for the Tau development team. Let me start by Andrei. Andrei has made great progress on TauNet. He evaluated multiple architectures for communicating between the extra logical components and the logical components in Tau. And he successfully implemented one communication mechanism, and he managed to get what we call an extra logical server communicating with a Tau node. He also implemented some initial commands like send transaction and validate transactions which go through Tau, and Tau issues a ruling on that. And he also placed the transactions into a simplified mempool. Additionally, he implemented the string manager, which stores strings and translates them to IDs for use within Tau. And having done all that, he's going to move on to implementing other components of the blockchain. Tomáš has continued his long-running task of switching the entire Tau-line code base to the new tree implementation. It is a monumental task because it covers pretty much every single file and function in our code base. We were thinking we would split that, but Tomáš, between the whole team, but Tomáš volunteered to doing all that himself. So the new tree implementation, as you guys know, was implemented by Ohad towards the end of last year, and on guidance from Ohad, and it is based on the LCRS tree algorithm, which stands for left child, right sibling, which offers improved storage efficiency and retrieval speed. So Tomáš is in the process. He's about, I say, 80% done with the conversion of the code base to using the new tree implementations. The last things he implemented was the printers, the pooling, and the binding of constants. And he also migrated Boolean algebras, normal forms, the normalizer itself, and the execution modules, and all the accompanying unit tests. And he's currently working on two remaining components, not small ones, but only two left, which are the solver and the interpreter. Thank you, Tomáš, for that monumental effort. Lucca, on his side, started the month by making some major upgrade to the Tau README file and on the Tau-Lang repo on GitHub. And then most of his time was spent on prototyping a new normalization algorithm that was specified by Ohad for what we call anti-prenexing, and the main purpose of which is to overcome our current performance bottlenecks. Lucca also spent time investigating a related algorithm that has to do with Boolean function quantifier elimination. David, on his end, continued working on bit vector implementation, which is going to be crucial for TauNet and TauNet Alpha. He added several Z3 operations that were previously missing, and he renamed the left and right rotation operators and all the required tests for that. He added tests for parsing Z3 expressions, and also added a simple demo script to show how we use the Z3 solver. Added a simple way to configure the Z3 SMT solver, and made several improvements to the parsing of Z3 expressions. He also introduced a tentative approach to deal with the overflow and underflow mechanism for Z3, but it's going to require revisiting because he's not 100% happy with that. For his next tasks, David will be working on supporting Z3 expressions in the normalizer and satisfiability tests and the interpreter, after which basically bit vectors will be ready to be used in the tau net, which is a major milestone for us. Looking forward to that. That's it for this month. Back to you, Fola.
All right, fantastic overview there, Karim. Thank you so much. And now I'll pass it over to Lucca for his update for this month.
Thank you, Fola. Karim has basically summarized well what I did this month. A lot of planning, organization, and theoretical investigation and prototyping. First of all, there was the revamp of the README, incorporating all the features which we had implemented during the past couple of months, which didn't find their way into the README yet. I also added some examples on how to use certain features just to make it a little bit more approachable. And then the major task ahead for me is the implementation of a new normalizer algorithm, because our current algorithm doesn't scale good enough so that we can actually normalize the formulas which we want to normalize. And for this reason, for a long time, we have had, in particular, Ohad has had ideas for how to improve it in mind. It's basically about incorporating a smarter strategy based on BDD-like approach, taking variable orders into account. Tau has two levels of normalization, basically the logical formula level, but also the term level, and terms themselves can again have constants from different Boolean algebras. So this whole process is quite involved to figure out how to optimally, or hopefully optimally, put variables in order such that BDD-based approaches don't explode. And this algorithm needs a lot of prototyping, a lot of pseudocode, and this is mainly what I've been doing. Aside that, I've also started investigating more thoroughly how we can enable Boolean function quantifier elimination, which is an effort which is needed to be completed to support the tables feature, basically so that you can have a table as an input or an output to a Tau program. For those mechanisms, there will be the need to quantify over tables. Tables will be represented as functions, and so the elimination of the function quantifier is quite essential. And we have ongoing research on how to do this efficiently so that we can support bigger specifications. That's basically been my month. Thank you very much, and I'll give it back to Fola.
Excellent stuff, Lucca. Thank you so much. And Andrei, the people want to know about testnet. Over to you.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be here again, sharing some of the updates that I've done over the past months. Since we inside the team agreed and settled all the main topics and covered all the main topics on Tau testnet blockchain actual implementation, I wrote several architecture visions and we discussed them, and we came to some common ground. I started the actual implementation of the blockchain, and I wrote an extra logical server that takes input from users and communicates with Tau program itself. Also it interacts seamlessly with external libraries when necessary, and allows us to have the functionality not yet available in Tau, such as tables, for example. Alongside with it, I wrote quite complex and working Tau program that takes input, different commands as input, processes them, validates them, and produces different output, meaningful output, depending on the input. And it was really exciting to see such complex Tau program actually working. So looking forward, I will start implementing the core blockchain functions such as assemble a block, validate transaction, send a transaction, and so on inside Tau with the help of extralogical server. And once everything will be covered with tests, I believe we will publish it to our GitHub, Tau GitHub. So, thank you everyone for your continuous support. I'm looking forward for the next months where it will bring us. Stay safe, stay connected.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Andrei. And David, over to you, my friend. The people want to know what's happening with Tau language.
Thank you, Fala. Hi, everyone. This month, I have continued working in the big vectors integration. In particular, I have added several set3 operations that previously were missing. Right now, we also have max, min, nan, nor, xnor, and so on. Also, I have changed to better names the left and right rotations, and I have changed the grammar accordingly, and also I have added all the required tests. Apart from that, I have also added tests for the parsing of set3 expressions and more tests for the set3 solver. Right now we have tests dealing with the solving method and also with the repel solve command. I have added a simple demo script with a few examples to show how the set3 solver command is working in the REPL, and also a simple way to configure the set3 SMT solver. Right now we are only configuring the solver that we want from all the solvers that set3 has, and also some pretty printing related stuff. I have made several improvements in the parsing of set3 expressions and fixed several bugs, and I have introduced a tentative approach to deal with overflows and underflows using the underlying methods of set3. It's not as strong as we need, so further analysis will be needed in the near future to properly deal with those cases. Right now, I'm working in supporting set3 expressions and solver in the normalizer, satisfiability, and interpreter. And that's all for my month. Thank you all for listening. Back to you, Fala.
Excellent. Thank you so much, David. And Tomáš, over to you. Take the mic.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. This month, I've continued on switching the new tree implementation used by Tau language. I've worked on node equality for comparing trees with their subtrees. I've fixed issues with non-recursive pre-order and post-order traversals. I've migrated former rewriter API and hooks for simplification and reduction of formulas right while at creating new nodes. Then I've migrated also recurrence relations and the rule application. I've updated Pretty Printer and added various printers and debugging dumps. I've updated and refactored also builders to help create Tau tree programmatically. And I've worked on parse tree to Tau tree transformation. That's named and factory binding of constants to a Tau tree, and I fixed preprocessing of digits and variables. Then I also finished pooling of constants and their binding, and I've migrated Boolean algebras, normal forms, normalizer, execution splitter, satisfiability, and basically all the code required by unit tests. And I spent a lot of time with debugging, and when I was migrating, I've done also some refactoring. I've removed some duplicities and simplified code on some places. And currently I'm working on migrating the last remaining parts of Tau, which is solver, interpreter, and integration tests. So that's all from me for now. Thank you.
Excellent stuff. Thank you so much, Tomáš. And Umar, yes, we want to hear from you too.
Hi team, glad to share the update for this month. So This month, mainly we have checked in the modest traversal changes. These modest traversal changes enable us to traverse a tree with constant space while getting some linear factor of the time. And these changes enable visiting the node in such a way that the tree pointers do not change. Though we change them during the traversal, but at the end of the traversal, the tree remains the same. And all the children that were children of the given node, they will also be in place during the traversal. So these changes are checked in the tree switch branch, and all the tests were also done, ensuring that the pointers remain the same before the tree and after the tree. And we also did some load factor testing on this, running it for thousands of tree with thousands of nodes and for 500,000 of the nodes. And we noticed that the space usage is constant, and prime traversal is just a linear factor of the original prime traversal with recursive tree traversal changes. And also along with that, I've also been discussing some of the changes on how to publish the research with the team like Fola and Killian. There's not been progress on the compiler issue because I did not take time for that during this time, but this month we'll focus more on that. Thank you.
All right, and last but not least, over to you, Ohad.
Yes, I was working some on the ALC with concrete domains that I mentioned before in the Q&A, and also continuing to write the paper about the extensions to the temporal layer of the Tau language. I hit some difficulties there. It's really very complicated, but I'm still making progress. I hope to finish it soon.
All right, fantastic stuff. Thank you so much, Ohad, for wrapping it up. And thank you to you guys for tuning in as always and sticking with us. We are making a lot of progress, and this year is going to be a big one. It's gonna be a big one. And yeah, so please continue to follow us on all of our socials. If you don't know what those are on Twitter or X. It's Tau_net. That's TAU_NET. On Telegram, that's TauNet. And on Reddit, that's TauNet Agrs. Don't forget our forum as well. We're going to be attracting a lot of developers to the forum as our developer and marketing strategy. So, jump into the forum as well. Make sure you're posting there, asking questions, then our team can get back to you. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. Cheers.